Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the Chumash of the day. Today is Tuesday, the third reading in the portion of the A, holding in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse number 29. So when the Lord your God cuts off the nations in which you come to drive them out before you, from in front of you, you'll inherit them, Yeshaftem b'aytem, and you dwell in their lands. Verse 30. Be very careful. Benti nakash achreim, needs to be attracted to them. After you get rid of them, bentidesh leleheim, you're going to start inquiring about their gods. Lema eche avduna hagoyim eila, they're going to start coming, try to figure out what was the gods that they used to worship. Maybe I'll do the same. So now she says, Pantinakesh achreim, Onkelis renders tinakesh as an expression of moikesh, a sneer. So he'll be sneered after them. However, I say that he was not meticulous in the examining of the language. We did not find a nun, tinakesh, in the form of the verb to sneer, not even the root letter. That is sometimes omitted from it. However, as an expression denoting vehement movement from place to place or rattling, we do find a nun in the in and his knees nakshan, one against the other. Here too, I say pentinakish achrein, least to be attracted to them. You're going to run after them. Because by becoming bound up in what they do, you're going to get attracted to them. Similarly, may a creditor search out yinakesh, all that he has. Here David curses the wicked, and he should have many creditors. And when you have a lot of creditors, they come after you, attracted to you. God says, after you see that I have annihilated them from you before you, you ought to consider why these people were exterminated. Because of the corrupt action that was in their hands. Accordingly, you should not act likewise. Why would you be attracted to such a lifestyle if basically I destroyed them from you? Till now, the only cases that incurred the death penalty for idolatry was slaughtering, causing to go up in smoke, libation, prostration before the other gods. And it says, he who slaughters a sacrifice to God shall be destroyed, except to the Lord alone. This means the death punishment is occurred if one commits things that are done for the Most High, for God, in the aspect of worshiping God to bring a sacrifice. Here, Scripture teaches us that if it's a customary to worship a particular idol by some other rite, such as the defecating before the Baal, there was a certain idol worship, you used to defecate before it. So that's not the way you serve God anyway. Or casting stones at the Mercurius. There was a certain Mercurius, there was a certain idol that used to throw stones at it. So you might say, listen, this is by Jews, this is a derogatory concept to throw stones at something or to defecate in front of it. So maybe I can do that because anyway, disgusting thing. So the difference, the Torah says, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference that the Goyim worship their gods in a very disgusting way. But if you do the same, it's as if you're doing the service. So whatever the service to this God, whatever this idol was, if a Jew does it, he's doing avodah zarah, he's doing idol worship, even though he's doing something that is despicable. So, however, regarding slaughtering, if you bring a carbon to an idol, even though that's not the customary way of the non-world to bring a sacrifice, but if a Jew brings a sacrifice to any idol, that is prohibited. That's considered worshiping an idol in Torah law, even though that's not the way they serve the idol in their way of life. Verse 31. Don't do this to God. Because every abomination that the Eibush Hashana, everything that's abominating to God, they did to their gods. Kigam has been the same, because even by them, they bring their children. Yisrael, there was a idol worship. They used to have to bring the child, you to burn the child, God forbid, to their God. To bring the first child. It used to be an idol worship. He says it's an abomination. So don't act like these people who worship their God in a very derogatory way. Rashi says, for the sons, Gam, the Rabbi comes to include the fathers and the mothers amongst those they burned. Rabbi Kiva said, I once saw a heathen who bound his father before his dog, which he devoured him. That's where they served to become an idol. The dog represented the idol, either because it made the form of a dog, or this was a dog eating a father, means that the heathen burned the father in fire before the idol. So don't follow these nations. All in chapter 13, verse number 1. It's called everything that I command you should be careful to do it. Last is to do, do not add, do not subtract. So Rashi says it's whether it's a significant commandment, whether you think it's an insignificant commandment. Tishmul last says this space attaches a negative commandment to a positive commandment mentioned in this parsha. Whenever the shomer is used, be careful. It's an expression of a negative commandment. Lashes, however, are not incurred for infringement of prohibition when the term shomer is attached to a positive commandment. Lashes, 39 lashes, is only received if you did a negative command where the Torah says lo yisasa, you're not allowed to do something. But in general, wherever it says Yishomer, Rashi says it means automatically the positive also has a negative. So what means do not add to a mitzvah? It means do not place 5 chapters in tefillin instead of 4. Do not use 5 species for the lulav instead of 4. Do not recite 4 blessings instead of blessings that count them 3. So you're not allowed to add. You say, "Oh, I'm going to add. I'm going to add more portions and more corners, more tzitzis to my corners or my baguette, etc." You're not allowed to do that. Verse number 2. If there will arise amongst you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he sees he's an unbelievable guy, he can make miracles, and he's going to show a wonder or show a miracle. So that will give us a sign. An ois, meaning in the heavens, stated the case of Gideon, who said to the angels, then show them a sign. And then it says further, let the dry only upon the fleece and upon all the ground. Let there be dew, whatever, he showed a sign. So he showed a sign of the earth. And the heavens, as is written, the sun, the moon, the stars, shall be as a sign for the seasons. Or a wonder on the earth, as is written, it will be dew on the fleeces only, or upon the ground dry. Even so he's gonna make a miracle. Whatever, he'll be able to make a miracle. This guy is gonna be a wonder maker, and he'll be able to make a miracle. And he'll tell you to go against the Torah. Even so, you shall not listen to him. But if he says, but if you say, why then does our Holy One, blessed be, give him the power to perform such a sign? If we shouldn't listen to him, so why does he have such kind of powers? So the Torah tells us, for the Lord your God is testing you. Why does God give the power to evil prophets, or even to sorcerers? The power to people to do miracles is not always proof that the person does a miracle that he's a holy person. Be an evil person. As the Torah tells us, and this sign will come. And he'll tell you, okay, you see, I'm showing you a sign. Let's go worship an idol because I showed you a sign. I'm a miracle worker. Which you do not know. Let's go serve it. Go look, the guy did a sign. So now this is a general rule. Once a Torah was given, no prophet can come and give a sign. You're not to listen to that prophet. That dreamer of dreams. The Abba should send you this guy. He send you this false prophet to see, to test you. Here, this false guy is going to do a miracle. Are you going to listen to this miracle, or are you going to listen to the Torah? Do you love more the prophet, or do you love God? You love God with all your heart and soul. And therefore, whatever the Torah says, no miracle, no prophet, nobody can change the law. It makes difference how many miracles you do. Don't follow any of these miracles. Go after God. These are the laws of the Torah that cannot be changed. So Rashi says, keep his commandment, the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu. The right prophets. In his temple. Rashi says, cleave to his ways. Go do kindness, cover mason, bury the dead. And visit the sick. God did. And what do you do with that prophet? A Jewish prophet. That person who has dreams, you should put him to death. He did Hashem because he's going against God's words. Hashem time we took you out of Egypt. We took you out of Egypt, redeemed you from the house of bondage. Have to take you away from the way. He wants to take you away from the way that God commanded. And you should get evil from your midst. Literally, something turned away, removed from the world, which neither exists nor were created, in which I never commanded him to say. I would never, the Torah says, I would never tell somebody to go against the Torah. So it's impossible for a prophet to tell you to go against the Torah. Even if God had no other claim other than he took you out of Egypt, it's enough. Maybe he took us to Mitzrayim to give us a Torah. So therefore, that's it. And therefore, if your brother, the son of your mother, a bitcha, or your sister, or your daughter, or your wife, if they embrace this prophet, and they tell her, they say, let us go and worship other gods. So here we have the law of a person who tries to entice others to go worship idols. This is the Rashi says, Yasisa is Asasa, that's acting, and it says, in Mesischa, the Lord incited you against me. I mean, he attempts to do so. He attempts. Whether it's your brother from your father, or it's your son of your mother from your mother's side. Chekecha, so you embrace the one who ties in your embrace and is attached, mechukik, to you. So that's the concept of chekecha, he's bonded with you. Asheken avshecha, who is like your soul. Ze'avicha, this refers to your father. Scripture enumerates the person who dear to you. How much more so must you apply this to others who do not, and not spare them? So even if your father, so Torah wants to emphasize, even if it's your father, your brother, the guy's a mesis and madiach, he's a person that tries to get people to worship idols. She have no mercy upon them. As they said, if your brother tempts you in secret, Scripture speaks of what commonly occurs, but does not exclude the other cases. Meaning, one who entices publicly. For usually the one who entices speaks condescendingly, goes quietly. Similarly, Solomon describes the episode of enticement. He says, the twilight in the evening time, in the blackness of the night, the darkness, tries to secretly try to entice you. Shalaya Daita, this is like Jews for Jesus. Tries to entice Jews to get involved in idolatry. Shalaya Daita is the Jews are trying to entice Jews. Shalaya Daita Atav Avisecha. This would be a great disgrace for you, for not even the heathen nations forsake what their forefathers have handed down to them. Yet this man says to you, abandon what your forefathers have handed down to you. Go away from the ways of the Torah. God forbid. Hey, I'm from the gods of the people around you. They say, come worship like the Goyim worship. Whether they're close to you, or whether they're far away from you. Whether they're from one side of the world to the other side of the world. So Rashi is why the scripture specify gods that are near or far. Right? And this is what scripture says. Though knowing the character of those gods close to you, you learn the character of those gods far from you. Just as those that are close to you are devoid of substance, so the gods that are far from you are devoid of substance. This refers to the sun, the moon, the legions of the heaven, the stars, which extend from the end of the world to the other end of the world. You shall not desire him. Do not listen to him, even though he's your brother. Fellow Jew, do not have pity on him. Have no mercy on him. Don't shield him. As the Torah will say what to do with such a person. You should not feel longing towards him, even though again he's a fellow Jew. Do not love him, since he said you shall not love your fellow man as yourself. Therefore, it's necessary to tell this person, however, there's always an exception to the rule. So even though it says you to love everybody, this person you're not allowed to love. He's a masis. He's an enticer. Which he pleads for his life, that you should pardon him. Because it says, if you see a donkey of your enemy, you shall surely help him. You might say, oh, you should help me. I'm the donkey of your enemy. What, am I worse than the donkey of your enemy? But over here, the Torah says this person is always exception to the rule. If a guy's an enticer, if a guy's a sneaky guy who's trying to get Jews, trying to get you involved in idol worship, you cannot have mercy on this guy. The Sachar say, no, you should not have pity on him. Even though it says you should not stand idle by the blood of your fellow man, so maybe why my blood? Why did you protect my blood? No, there's an exception to the rule. Well, you should not have mercy upon him. You should not have merit. Don't say any merits about this Jew. Asalov. If you are aware of something that will condemn him, you are not permitted to remain silent. You should kill such a person. Put to death, the court, the Jewish court, something. Your hand shall be first against him to put him to death. And the rest of the people shall be, since you know about it, you brought him to court, you should be the one. If he's left that, if he has left the court acquitted, having returned for convictions. On the other hand, if he has left the court convicted, do not return him for acquittal. The one who's attempted to idolatry by this person has the duty to put him to death. However, if he did not die by his hands, he must die by the hands of others. Even though you're not going to want to do it, the Bezdin has to put him to death. It's a kaltim, you should stone to such a person. A mace, and he should be put to death. Because he sought to lead you astray. Now, Hashem this Jew sought to lead you astray, the one who took you out of Egypt, the house of bondage. Chol Yishma, you know, that's the Jewish people will be listen, have fear, and they should no longer do this evil. And this evil that's in your midst. Now the Torah comes, teaches the law of In and Idachas. Entire city. Again, I don't know if there was ever such a case in history that there was a law, this law, the Torah Idachas, an entire city that went against and became an idol worshiping city. That's the law. This is the law in the Torah, the law of a city that went against God. If you hear that one of your cities of the Lord, if you heard that there was a city in Israel, that the city decided, majority, you'll soon see what it means, majority of the city decided to go against, to start a worship, become an idol worshiping city. This comes to exclude Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, because Jerusalem was not apportioned to a dwelling place. Jerusalem was given to the Levim. It's an open place for the Kehanim. It's not a place, a city of dwellers, of regular inhabitants. They say, if you hear people saying thus, unfaithful men have gone forth from among you, and have led the inhabitants of their city astray. Again, it's called Ir Hanidachat, a city that has gone astray. That the city said, that the city said, we're going to start worshiping other idols. Asher lo yadaitim, which you don't know. So that's just b'nei, unfaithful men, b'nei Bilial, people without a yoke, who are thrown off the yoke of God. Anoshim, b'lei noshim. This is dafka men. Someone would never do that. Yesh v'idam, but not the inhabitants of another city. From here, the rabbi said the city is not considered a wayward city, so that's the word, a wayward city, unless the men led it astray, unless those who lead it astray are from within the city. So this is a very, very specific law of Iran Dachas. You can go look at the Gemara, because it's a very specific kind of law. So it has to be people in the city and the people of the city. And you shall inquire and investigate, and you'll ask thoroughly. And you're going to find out that it is true. That entire city went against God. So now she says, "V'darashta, v'chakaita, v'shahalta, hated. V'hinein emes nochan adova." So Rashi is from the verse in a combination with others, as explained, our rabbis say there are 7 investigations in the court of law. Since scripture uses many expressions of an investigation, here there are 3 expressions: Drisha, Chakira, inquiry, investigation, hated thoroughly. The term V'sha'alta, ask, is counted as one of the 7 investigations. Chakira and a cross-examination, B'dikas, regarding accompanying circumstances are derived from it. So far, we have 3 expressions. And elsewhere, in the case of a collusive witness, it says, "V'darshu hashaytim hertu," and the judges shall inquire thoroughly. So there you have the word drisha. There are 2 expressions in that verse, drisha and hatim, that make it 5. And still elsewhere, in the case of idolatry, it says, "V'darashta hatim," and you shall inquire thoroughly, thus adding 2 more expressions of drisha, inquiring, and hatim, to make it a total of 7 investigation expressions, demonstrating the law of 7 investigations. And Rabbi learned the Zeta Shava, inference of identical words in 2 passages, which teaches us the law of one passage applies to the same as to other passage. For the words hative, that's an equal word. So you see, you have the Darashta, you have 2 verses that says hative. 3 verses. Over here it says hative also, the word hative. So that's, if you learn Gemara, that's a Gzeda Shava. When you find verses that have the same word, then they're interconnected. Torah puts the same word. So that's how you connect all 3 cases to make it 7. The place to say the counting of this kind of, it's a counting of all 7 written in the context of the wayward city, as well as a case of collusive witness, individual one who worships. You have 3 cases: a general city, a witness, and a person, individual, worships idols. So there are 7 things you need to investigate. The judge would ask the witness the following 7 questions. In what Shemitah cycle was the crime committed? In what year? In what month? In what day of the month? In what day of the week? In what hour? In what place? And if the witness, made a mistake in any of these questions, then it was not accepted. So the harder question over here was probably the first question: what Shemitah cycle was the crime committed? Not everybody knows that answer. Like, what is the Shemitah cycle today? So next year is the Shemitah year, 7th year of Shemitah. So what happened to this year, you would have to know it's in the 6th year of Shemitah. If not, you wouldn't be a good witness to the situation. So it's so particular. The Gemara said that, so to be a witness of this situation, you have to be very, very careful, or yet you know exactly what you're talking about. But once they did this 7 different chakiras, and they made sure that the guy knew what he's saying, then you have to destroy the whole city, to kill everybody in the city. And you have to destroy everything that's in it. That's behemtem leficherev, and even the animals. Haketake, the double expression is used to explain if you cannot execute the death penalty that is prescribed for them, put to death in any other manner. Again, I don't think that this was ever recorded to ever happen in history. The Torah continues, verse 17, and he shall collect all the spoils into the midst of the open square of the city. After you kill everybody, you have to gather everything of the city into the center of the city and burn it. After Beish, you have to burn the whole city down. But you can't keep the spoils. It's all idol worship. So you have to burn the whole city, burn everything that's in the city, kolil completely. Hashem Lekach. Not only that, if you destroy the city is not allowed to be rebuilt. The city is destroyed forever. It's a destroyed city. It can never be rebuilt. But do not touch anything from this chedim. Do not touch anything from anything of the city. Don't have any hana, any pleasure from anything of the city. Nothing should be touched. Everything should be destroyed. So God will turn away from his anger. That just shows you the negative of idol worship. God will have compassion upon you. And he'll multiply you like he swore to your fathers. So Rashi says, for as long as the idol worship exists in the world, fierce wrath of God exists in the world. Verse 19, you shall hearken to the voice of the Lord of God, lishmas kol mitzvahs of, to keep his commandments, which I'm commanding you today, which is to do what is proper in the eyes of God. So here we had the laws. Today we heard the laws, powerful laws of idol worship. That completes the Chumash of the day. We're going on to the Tanya of the day, and we begin the 8th letter of the Alter Rebbe in the Igeres HaKodesh, the holy letters in Tanya. The verse says, Zerei Tzedakis, we mentioned this verse in the previous letter. Zerei Tzedakis, he sows tzedakah, charity. Atzmiyah Cheshuas, and when you sow charity, you're going to deliverance sprouts forth. So over here, Alter Rebbe spoke about this pasuk already, and why sowing. So we sow charity. This world, that was the previous teaching, and it brings about an elevation, a revelation, a higher revelation above. But over here, the Alter Rebbe is talking about the word tzedakos. He's going to teach us the word tzedakos. Tzedakah is the plural form. Tzedakah can mean both acts of righteousness or acts of charity. So not only charity, but acts of charity. So Zaydeya Tzedakos, he sows acts of charity. Use of the word ziriya, sowing. Mitzvah tzedakah in relation to commandment of charity. Moshe Kostav Apostle, as is written in the verse, Ziru alechem l'tzedakah, sow for yourself for tzedakah. And the ending of chulu, when usually it says chulu, etc., that's chulu, etc. So that's why he brings over here the end. You should really look up the end of the verse. After that, doesn't mean the whole verse. He brings part of the verse, but he wants you to look up the end of the verse and reap according to the measure of chesed. We'll understand this in the light of the teaching of our sages in the Gemara. The Gemara says, Abelezer would give a coin to a poor person. Abelezer would give a poor person a coin, and then he would pray. He based it on a verse. It says, Ani b'tzedek, through tzedek. Ani b'tzedek, I, through charity, through tzedakah. After panecha will I behold your face. So the tzedek, the righteousness, is closely related to tzedakah. So I, through tzedakah, I see your face. So Rabbi Lezer would give money to the poor, and then he would daven, because he would say, first I need to give something at tzedek, I need to do some righteousness, and then I can see the face of God. Hirush, this meaning the reason prayer is deemed seeing God's face, the reason why it's attained to prefacing prayer with charity is manifestation of divinity in which is revealed in thought of man and his devotion during prayer. Each individual according to his own measure. It's all granted to man by charity from God. God will give a person what his feelings are in his prayer. So that's the word. So it's all a tzedakah. It's all a charity. My charity is God's charity, by the sense of God loving kindness from the world to world upon those who fear. What did I mean? The light of God, the infinite light of God, Ein Sof, radiates so quantitatively great and so qualitatively intense, a manifestation in the high worlds above. So this light is revealed through my action here, lamata, in this world. There's a great light that's revealed in the higher worlds. So that they, the beings which inhabit them, are truly in a state of self-nullification and considered as truly naught before him. And when God reveals this light, they are absorbed in his light. Where this happens, in the higher worlds are the chalas, are the chambers or the rooms with the angels and the souls within them that are spoken in the sacred Zohar by their names and according to their places and levels as alluded in the liturgy arranged by the men of the great assembly. So when I daven here lamata, when I pray here lamata, when I pray here in this world, there's a great illumination in the world of creation and the world of formation, which is the world of act. It was the world of angels and the world of souls. And then what happens? And this light, which is good, radiates from there to this lowly world. Upon those who fear God and meditate upon his name. And those that are chafetzim love, those who desire to worship him, V'aveda shebelev zu tefillah, with the service of the heart, which is through prayer. As it's written, Hashem yagir chashki, God will enlighten my darkness. That means even in this world, which is so lowly that godliness is generally not manifested, it's dark, God will illuminate it. Hine, that in this world that there's an illumination of God in this world through my actions, through my prayer. That's a gift. This illumination downward to this world, that's nikir b'shem chesed havaya. That is a kindness of God. So through this illumination is drawn down as a response to divine service of a Jew. It outshines it out of all proportions. So whatever I do, this my limited action elicit an unbelievable light. So it's really not compare. You cannot compare. It's not a cause and effect. Because if my avodah would be a cause and effect, I would be a limit. I would reveal a very limited light. Eibush just shows a chesed that through a small action of my action in this world, a great illumination is revealed. And that's a chesed of God. So that's why it's called the chesed of God. Its bestowal upon the lower world is truly an act of God's kindness. Which is referred to as water. That's why chesed is water. Is compared to water. Torah is compared to water. Chesed is compared to water. Why? Because water, the analogy to water, is just like water comes from a very high place. It goes to the very slowest place. Why does it go to the very slowest? Because that's the nature of water. Not because the lower place, because of any of the reasons of the lower place. Because that's the way they're able to create the water. Then it goes to the slowest place. So too, that's that there's an Oir Hashem that comes to the world, not because of my service. My service would not bring down great revelation in this world. Because my service is so limited that it would not reveal much in this world. That it does reveal an unbelievable light in this world, whether I see it or not, that's Chesed Hashem. That is like water. That's the way the Eibishter wanted. It's a kindness, just like water comes from a high place to lower place, because that's the kindness of God. Thank God. So too, this is also a kindness of God. God's kindness is drawn down through man's arousal, initiated from below. It is thus the coin that one gives to a pauper, that grants the giver the gift of benevolence of God's face. Can you imagine? I, with an act of charity, tzedek, one act of charity, as Abelezer did, gave 1 penny to a poor person. So through my 1 coin that I gave to a poor person, I see the face of God. What is my 1 coin? How can my 1 coin elicit the Pnei Hashem? That's an act of charity of God. The internal aspect of godliness during prayer. The internal aspect of godliness during prayer. In this way, man's kindness in tzedakah elicits God's kindness in tzedakah. So through my small act of kindness, I elicit an unbelievable response of God, which is not in proportion. But just like I do an act of kindness, God does an act of kindness. An act of kindness is not proportionate. And that completes the Tanya of the day. Today is the 20th day of the month, which is half of the first chapter, 119, from the letter Aleph to the letter Mem. So if you do that, half of chapter 119, you did the chitas of the day. And I wish you a beautiful, wonderful, happy, and healthy day. And God bless you. And we'll see you in Mitcham tomorrow morning for continuation of the chitas of the day.
Thank you, Rabbi.